What I'm about to tell you is so disgusting. You genuinely wouldn't even believe it. So I've been told from insiders at the BBC that makeup artists who've been preparing Nigel Farage, the Reform UK leader, for his appearances, have actually contaminated their makeup brushes with various human fluids, including spit. Lisa Hilton, the best-selling author and historian who's presented programmes on the BBC, was told this by a veteran news presenter. Personally, I can believe it because Farage has been in a sort of long-running feud with the BBC. He's accused the corporation of anti-Brexit bias, of left-wing bias, and there's a lot of people at the BBC that really don't like him. Personally, I hope it's not true because it's revolting. However much staff might dislike Farage, it's a revolting thing to do.
There needs to be a full investigation into this. I mean, it is truly sick. When you go into one of those makeup rooms as a public figure, you are trusting those artists. And the fact that the woke mind virus is so embedded within the BBC that they are actually using bodily fluids and spit on the face of Nigel Farage is so horrifying and mortifying. I honestly think that alone should be enough to close down the corporation. That's before you get to Jimmy Savile. That's before you get to the Princess Diana panorama interview with Martin Bashir. That's before you get to Hugh Edwards. But let's just stick to this, Steph, because it shows to me a truly sick organisation, a sick and twisted group of people who don't, Steph, just want Nigel Farage not to be Prime Minister. They actually want to kill him. I'm not exaggerating here. If you're putting, let's just be frank about it, semen and saliva on someone's face, you are trying to kill them.
Well, that's actually what I wanted to get onto, to be fair, because, the major headline is, of course, BBC makeup artists used saliva and other bodily fluids on Nigel Farage in his makeup, this, that, and the other, which absolutely is disgusting and despicable in of itself and makes me sick to my stomach. But the second thing that not a lot of people, I think, is pointing out here is actually this is a serious crime. It's actually a serious crime. This could be akin to something like grievous bodily harm because...
It is, Steph. This is illegal. This is not a joke. They're treating it as a joke. I'm so glad you said that because I've been thinking this. This is illegal. It doesn't matter what you think about Farage. If they were doing this to Owen Jones, I'd be sitting here saying this is illegal,
Exactly, because I'm not saying that any of them have this, don't get me wrong, but my goodness, God forbid, to coin a phrase there, if one of them, right, had, let's say, unprotected sex the previous night, and whoever they were with, God forbid, had HIV, AIDS, whatever, right? And then they contracted it, they used then their own bodily fluids on Nigel Farage, passing something on like that they didn't even know that they had. This is why I'm saying that, the media, and there's an element of it where it's a little bit jokey, this, that, and the other, but actually there's an underlying very, very sinister narrative here that not a lot of people are picking up on here, and it's absolutely to the point where it's dangerous and it's life-threatening.
That it is illegal to spit in someone's food at a restaurant. And if you look at those laws, for example, it could be a criminal offence of administering a noxious thing or poisoning, which is under the Offences Against the Person Act of 1861, Section 24. It could also actually be, I think you said this, Steph, assault occasioning actual bodily harm, because it could be considered common assault or assault by beating.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also Section 38 of the Public Order Act, or even the more serious Criminal Damage Act of 1971. There's also the potential to use the Anti-Social Behaviour Crime and Policing Act of 2014. So my argument here is there should be a police investigation. That's what I'm saying. I mean, very, very clear on this. This is serious. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. Oh, They're putting spit and bodily fluids all over Farage's face. You know that's how the left are reacting to this story. No. No. This is criminal. There should be a police investigation. There won't be, of course. There won't be. But just imagine if it was a left-wing Labour cabinet minister in the GB News makeup room. You know there would be a police investigation. You just know that, right? You know there would. But we live in a two-tier country.